understand the flow of communication model, first need to have a situation when the communication takes place, which is context. Next, the sender will deliver the message to the receiver through channel and some interference. If the receiver receives the message, he or she will feed back to the sender.
Guys, today I will be explaining how I understood the communication process. First of all, the context will begin in the brain of the sender. For example, when he or she would like to convey a message. Second, the sender is now encoding the message to the receiver. Third, the receiver is now decoding the message. And once done, the receiver becomes a sender that conveys a message to. Number 4. It creates a feedback. It creates a feedback that makes the communication process a cycle. Fifth, as seen in the diagram, there can be certain noises that can interrupt or have interference in the communication process. And that is how communication starts and becomes a cycle of thoughts.
In my communication model, the sender is the encoder of the message. It is sent to the receiver. The message is sent using a channel. After the receiver successfully receives the message, he will then decode it and react. This is called feedback. I drew noise to the sender and the receiver because I believe that in communication process, if the receiver decodes the message in a different way, the communication process is not successful. Same as to the sender. If the sender does not make his or her message clear to the receiver may not understand what the message is. I also drew noise in the channel since in some cases the receiver cannot understand the message due to the environment that the sender and the receiver are in.
Communication process is defined in simple ways as a transmission of message. And in order to transmit that message, we should follow the steps or we should have the process. First thing that is involved in the process is the sender. Sender is the one in charge of coding the message. The message will be sent through the channel. The channel will serve as a transportation or a way to send the message. And then there will be the decoder. The decoder will be the one to decode the message. And then the receiver will receive the message. And the receiver is the one who's in charge of giving the feedback.
Whole process of communication. So the process of communication starts off when the sender/receiver initiates the conversation due to some internal or external stimulus that triggers him or her to start off the communication. The sender then encodes the message or puts a thought or idea into what he or she is going to say. The second element of communication is the message. The message can come in many forms. It can be through speaking or it can be non-verbal like body language. The important part when it comes to sending a message is always the context of the situation. Context is the situation and condition upon which the process of communication is done. Context is always important when it comes to communication because communication without the proper context may lead to misunderstanding of the message that is going to be delivered. The receiver/sender is the person or the group of people decoding or interpreting the message of the sender/receiver. When the receiver/sender receives the message and gives his or her feedback by sending a message, the transactional, non-linear nature of communication is shown. The channel in which the communication is done can be through traditional or technological means. Communication, last part, is the feedback. The feedback is when the receiver/sender responds to the message. The feedback is also what completes the process of the whole communication process. The last is interference. Interference refers to the noise, sounds, or the distractions that hinders the process of communication. Thank you.